a person who was voted by their classmates to represent them. This year's valedictorian is, in the words of his peers, really smart. He was always searching for further understanding, partially because he enjoyed helping his peers so much. At first glance, one could be forgiven for being intimidated by him. He's a really big guy. But as you get to know him, you quickly realize he is funny, kind, and always willing to listen. When he's not being a great friend, he has shown leadership both in and out of the school community, raising a substantial amount of money for various charities. Please welcome your valedictorian, Theodore Simantirakis.
Honored guests, esteemed faculty, administrators, family, and graduates, good evening and congratulations to the class of 2015. I just wanted to preface the speech by reminding you guys that you voted for me. So when you guys started to nod off about 5 minutes in, that's on you. Over the last 4 years at Clarington Central, we've learned some important lessons. Mr. Burns taught us some incredibly bad jokes. My personal favorite being, a horse walks into the bar, and the bartender asks, "Why the long face?" Welcome. Mr. Warren taught us that we basically have no idea how the world works and that the universe really likes to mess with you. Mr. Moore taught us that no matter how much you lift, there's always going to be someone who's bigger than you. But by far the most terrifyingly vivid lesson, at least for me, was finding out the consequences of saying cancel out in front of Mr. Hargrove. And we also learned some other stuff, like how to read Shakespeare, art theory, symbols of the periodic table, how to conjugate French verbs, and Pythagorean theorem. Some people would argue that these are the important lessons. Me? Well, where was the valedictorian course when I needed it? I believe that the most important lessons aren't necessarily the ones we were taught in the classroom, but the ones that we picked up along the way. Over the next few minutes, I would like to thank some of the people who have influenced and helped us along the way, and to share some of my thoughts on school. Firstly, a special thanks has to go to our teachers. 20 years down the road, I doubt I will remember most of their teachings, especially if my parents' homework help is any indication. But I will remember individual teachers. Throughout our 4 long years of school, I'm sure each one of us has had a class with a teacher that we particularly enjoyed. Whether they opened our eyes to new ideas, inspired us to do more, or lent a helping hand when we needed it, all of them deserve our thanks. Next, we have to thank the guidance department and administrators, without whom we would literally be unable to graduate. Dealing with all of us scrambling over one another to get into the course or to hand in our last-minute community hours is no easy task. Without them, we would not be standing here, because there would be piles of paperwork sitting in a bin, waiting for someone to do it. I'm just glad it's not me that has to do it. Otherwise, it probably wouldn't get done. If we're thanking our teachers for their influence, then it's only fair that we also thank our families for support. This is especially true for our parents, which my mom definitely did not force me to say. Speaking of my mom, let me tell you a quick story about her. Every morning, as soon as I got on the bus, I had to text my mom to let her know I hadn't been kidnapped or tripped on my shoelaces and injured myself in a nearly 200-meter walk to the bus stop. As absurd as that may sound, there is something to be said for knowing that someone cares about your well-being and is willing to support you. So take a minute to thank your family this evening, especially before you do something rash and make them wonder how you made it this far. Lastly, I'd like to thank all of our friends who've made the past 4 years that much more bearable. Jane Kinnerly said that friends are God's way of apologizing for our families. I guess God figured he owed me a pretty massive apology with my life. Because he gave me some great friends. It's crazy to think back to the first day of grade 9, when I first sat down in Miss Witherspoon's music class, and I saw only strangers all around me. Now as I look at you guys, I don't see the strangers I saw on my first day, but a group of peers, good friends, and hopefully a few lifelong ones. I think now is the part of the speech where I'm supposed to impart the meaning of life, or give you some grand metaphor, or tell you how important high school is. But I don't think I'm in any position to tell you about these things. I'm only 18. My thoughts and views have changed enormously since June alone. Any ideas I impart, I'll have discarded in a month and moved on to something new. So I'm not going to stand here and pretend to be some wise man who holds all the answers. Instead, I'll quote to you a wise man named Socrates, who said that true knowledge exists in knowing that you know nothing. This quote helps illustrate the Socratic method, a style of thinking that was based on asking questions in order to promote thinking and illuminate new ideas. He was very famous for approaching so-called wise men and applying the Socratic method in order to deal with faulty thinking and the inconsistencies of their beliefs. And what did these wise men take away from Socrates' discussion? Nothing. Despite being ignorant, they still claimed to be wise. And this is where Socrates showed that he was a true wise man. Socrates was aware of his ignorance and did not accept anything he knew as a fact. This awareness is what made Socrates a wise man. It is awareness that I believe should be cultivated in everyone. I think this is an important lesson. It teaches us to be more humble and to look at things with a more critical eye. It stops us from taking things for granted and assuming the things that we believe are right and true are actually so. It helps to fight against ignorance, or as Socrates called it, the one true evil, and to continually evolve and adapt new ideas. In this regard, it helps to cultivate goodness by getting rid of things like fear, prejudice, hatred, and complacency, and replacing them with knowledge, eagerness, acceptance, and self-improvement. I hope that if you've taken away anything from school, it's that the world is a massive place, and that we don't know all the answers or have the perfect solutions. The truth is that we never will, which is why Socrates didn't believe himself a wise man. However, that doesn't mean we should just give up. I hope it inspires you to keep thinking and to keep moving forward, and not to settle into old ways just because they're familiar and comfortable, but to instead keep pushing and discovering new ideas and ways of doing things. I implore you all to keep learning or thinking throughout your life, and to never accept anything as an absolute truth. In this way, we can follow Socrates' example and keep moving forward and growing throughout our lives. I won't tell you to do anything, but I hope that you will at least think of this idea, instead of just dismissing it or even just outright accepting it. By doing this, we can all keep an open and inquisitive mind and keep pushing to discover new ideas. I wish you all future luck, happiness, and an ever-open mind. Before I go, I'll leave you with one last quote. Kurt Vonnegut said that true terror is to wake up one morning and to discover that your high school class is running the country. No disrespect to Mr. Vonnegut, but that doesn't sound so terrifying to me. I can't wait for the day that happens, and I'll be proud to know you all when I did. Thank you all for giving me